Good morning, navigators. Welcome to Friday. Hey, what do you know? We made it 3 days. Not too bad. All right, so if you are viewing the video at this point, then that means you have already completed your character sketch for Bruno and Shmuel in The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. So just want to make sure you have that done before you go any further. We've got lots of things going on, a lot to keep track of. All right, so we are going to look at a few things we need to take care of before we actually talk about the conclusion. Working on your conclusion today. All right. You are almost done with the research paper. We're getting there. Okay. We've already covered your introduction. We've gone through the body paragraphs yesterday. And now we are ready for your conclusion. Before we get started, though, there are a few things that we need to talk about. Okay, one of which would be what we call power words. Okay, take a look through your document and see where you can use power words, something that has a little more of a punch, okay, a little more of an impact. Okay, when we do that, I think that you will see that you might want to look at some of your different vocabulary in there. Some adjectives that could be a little stronger. Stronger verbs, okay, would be another one. So we want those strong verbs. A few of you, I put comments in your work about active and passive voice. If you find yourself using a lot of helping verbs, then that is what we call passive voice. Go back and make those verbs a little stronger. We really want to see a lot of action verbs more than anything. There are some sentences where you can't help but use a linking verb here and there, but really a lot of your verbs should be what we call action verbs. That makes sure that your writing is what's called active voice. Okay, it strengthens the writing. The other thing I want to caution you on is using I or my too much. You have to some extent, but if you say things like, I am going to tell you about, or today I'm going to talk about, you're kind of, missing the point of being at middle school. We get past that. That's intermediate writing. Third, fourth, and fifth grade, you would have done that, probably before that as well. But now that we're in middle school, we do things a little bit differently, and we go more objective. So you do need to say that your research, the questions you're going to answer in your research are these. But after the introduction, you're really not going to have I and my very much at all throughout your paper. So take a look at your body paragraphs again, see what I put in there as far as just different comments. And then today when we look at the conclusion, you'll see that there is no I or my. You're not going to see any of these personal pronouns in there. All right? Okay, so let's review what you should have completed by now. Many of you saw that I referred to the header that you needed to add in the top left-hand corner of your research paper. And I know it sounds picky. However, we are working on MLA format, and it is particular. If we were working on APA format, it would have a different thing it would want you to do. Chicago style, all of them have a very particular format. So we do want to make sure that we follow it just like it has. The introduction. So I saw some really good things, to be honest with you. I was concerned trying to do your first research paper over e-learning, but honestly, you've handled it beautifully. Many of you have done an outstanding job. Claim statements were in the right spot here at the end of the introduction. Some great hooks. Your background information was maybe the most difficult for you to write because a lot of you were trying to not give too much information, but just giving kind of a brief overview. You did a great job. And then the questions you want to answer, again, this is where you're going to use I or my, and that is fine, okay? Totally fine here. And same thing with, just your background information. So when you ask those questions, remember this, the questions that you're asking then become what you're going to answer in these body paragraphs, okay? So going through, most of you did pretty well with this. I guess I want to caution you, don't overthink it. You're basically answering the first question, the second question, the third question if you're research, or if you have two main questions for whatever it is. You're answering the question. Go ahead and write that paragraph. Then you can go back and slide in those in-text citations because all your research information should be on your source notes. So you can go back and easily see, oh yes, I found this quote from this source. Or, oh yes, I found this fact from, my second source that I recorded. Okay, whatever it is. So these aren't too bad. The in-text citations are where, you have something new you're doing. And so if you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate. I did not have a Zoom set up this morning because I thought by today we might be in pretty good shape. But if you feel like you really do need some help and you need that one-on-one FaceTime, just email me. I'll set something up and send something out to the rest of the group too if they need to hop in there. We can do one-on-one or we can do a group question and answer session anytime. We have that capability very easily and very quickly. So just let me know. Be happy to do that. I've talked to several people on the phone. I've texted. I've emailed. You name it. Questions get answered pretty easily and quickly. So this is all the things in yellow with the star are things that we have done up until this point. So please make sure that you shared your paper with me. You have these portions done because now we are ready for the conclusion today. Okay, we are now ready to write. So when we look at the conclusion, very simple. We have just two main things to focus on here. Summarizing your main points and leave your reader with something to think about. What you will not see in your conclusion, new information. Okay, you definitely never want to see new information there because you are just going back over what you talked about in your body paragraphs. Okay, no new information should be in the conclusion. You're just summarizing what you've already told your reader, and then you want to leave them with something to think about. Remember, you're essentially teaching them about your topic. You're the new expert. So the bottom line is what you want them to think about with this. If you're doing something with the twin studies, you want them to know just exactly how horrific it was and what the Nazis did. If you want them to know about D-Day, about Dunkirk, about different battles, you want them to remember some very key piece of information about those topics. Okay, so time for some quizzing. Here we go. What should your conclusion begin with? Ready? Go. Did you answer a transition word? I hope you did, because you need to have that transition. Now the question is, what would make a good transition? Well, we're talking about a conclusion, so you can very simply put in conclusion, or to conclude, or in summary, or really get fancy and say in summation. But then after that transition word, what comes next? What do you think? What is it? Aha. A comma. You are absolutely correct. Okay, transition words are followed by commas. Introductory words followed by commas. If you have something like however, comma, well, comma, in summary, comma, gotta have the comma afterward. Don't forget. So take a look at our example here. We have our transition word in summary. Oh, and look at that, a comma. The twin studies conducted by Hitler's Nazis were a hideous way for the Nazis to discriminate against and to torture the Jewish people. Eva and Miriam Moses, known as the Mengele twins, are one set of twins who, unfortunately, became famous for their role as unwilling medical subjects in these experiments. The torture and frightening experiences they endured have been shared throughout the world in the hope that all may know what occurred. May the world never see evil such as this ever happen again. Okay, so simple introduction. We spend most of this time summarizing. Okay, it's just a summary that we're providing. And it's, as you can see, it's very general. Mine is. Yours may have some facts and figures you want them to remember, but otherwise it's pretty general. Okay, this last sentence right here, though, is, that final thought. What you want to leave your reader with, And so you want to make sure that they understand it was so bad, how awful it was, and just, that we want to make sure by educating people that we will never see this happen again. When you look at your conclusion, then this is one of the more simple parts of the research paper. Start with your transition, provide a summary of what you just said in your body paragraphs, and then leave your reader with something to think about. Be bold, okay? Something very profound, very thought-provoking that you want your reader to think about. It's your last chance to say something about your topic. Make it count. Okay, so here we are. Your assignment is this. First of all, make sure you finish your character sketch. Send me that picture. I'm not worried about your drawing. You understand I am not an artist. I would never, ever judge you on your artwork. But after that, then you want to make revisions to your introduction body paragraphs. Make sure those have happened. Write your conclusion then. Make sure your document is shared with me, because I have about 75% of students as of Thursday at noon who have shared their work with me. I'm still waiting on another 25%. Some have asked questions, but I haven't actually seen their work. So I'm trying to make sure I keep everybody as caught up as possible and grade it very quickly. So get your work in. Let's take a look. And as soon as I had comments in there for you, then go in there and make those revisions. The next thing we're going to do is read Chapter 11 of The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. If you prefer, I did put audio in there. Don't laugh or laugh. It's fine. Either way, it's all good. But you are welcome to listen to the audio for something different if you would like. And then finally on Monday, we're going to polish the works cited page. So we will essentially finish our research paper. We did sort of a short and sweet version of it, and for just an introductory lesson, we're good. But I do want to go through and make sure everything's polished so that you have a fine example to add to your writing portfolios. All right, have a great day. I want everyone to be safe, happy, get good rest, take your vitamins, exercise, and we will see you Monday. Bye, guys.